It's Friday, I think it's the 25th of May, and it's time for another update. We'll start down on this end like we usually do. The corn's growing pretty well, and before I forget it, I've got something new I've never grown before, and this little plant right there is hops. And before anybody asks, I don't brew my own beer, and I don't really drink beer very often, but my son has some acreage down in Tennessee and he's thinking of growing hops, so I thought I might grow some and see if I could maybe learn something that might be helpful to him. Over there we have black raspberries, and they're getting berries on them. I think you can probably see them there. And we have onions. They're growing pretty well. They need to be thinned more. I've thinned them some, but they're still pretty thick. Tomatoes in this grow bag are growing really well. The lettuce is looking good, but it's been so hot during this month of May that my guess is it won't be the best to eat. But I've learned a little bit about the little gem lettuce. I like the looks of it a lot, but it's not really a fair year to judge the taste of it. The eggplants, they're doing all right considering the flea beetles, so I'm going to be treating those soon. I've had a couple of people ask what I do for flea beetles. I haven't treated them yet, but I'm going to be treating those with some pyrethrin. And I have a little experiment going on down here. Got a zucchini planted. I got a couple of rows of peppers. I'll probably do an update at some point and do a rundown on the types of peppers I have in the ground. I've been sticking a few in, as they get big enough. I started most of them from seed. I did buy a couple, well actually 3 I think. Then I have some basil stuck between some of the peppers. Got some radishes that are ready to harvest. I think I'll do that today. Spinach. Then I'm going to grow some cucumbers. I think I have 3 back there. I'm just going to put some string up the boards on the fence and let them climb that. Then I have several types of carrots over here, and the one row in the middle is outgrowing the rest of them. Finally got the last 2 straw bales planted. This one was the last one. I have 2 little eggplant seedlings I started, and a pepper in the middle. And then those are tomatoes in the side, which is kind of weird, I suppose, but those 2 are only supposed to get 18 inches tall, so I think they'll be all right, I hope. And then this straw bale, I have 3 peppers, and those small tomatoes in the side again. I think those are called Red Robin, if I remember. They're a hybrid. And then I have a petunia stuck in the side. Since we got some rain, the petunias aren't looking so great this morning. We got about ½ an inch of rain last night. And these are the 5 top grafted tomatoes, and they're doing great as far as growth. We're getting a few tomatoes setting on, and I did some grafts on these 5. Got a helicopter going over, so I don't know if you guys can hear that or not. Well, I thought I'd give a rundown on the grafting that I did on these 5. I've done some grafts outside. Let me see if I can show you one. Right there's one graft. As you can see, that one's doing pretty good. That one's doing pretty good, but I've done, I think, 12 different grafts out here outside about a week ago, I think it was, we had a day when it was probably in the upper 70s and cloudy. And that was perfect weather for trying to do cleft grafts outside. Anyway, I did 12 different grafts, tomato grafts, and so far they're all alive, but one is a little bit iffy. And this first one, I've got a pink tiger, a sweet 100 grafted onto it, and then the second one, a Brad's Crazy Cherry and a Solar Flare grafted onto it. And that one, a Lucid Gem and Chocolate Pear grafted onto that. And the third one, I have 3 grafts on it. Pink Oxheart, Indigo Rose, Sweet Caneros Pink, and that last graft, that's the one that's really iffy. I don't think it's going to make it. Then on the last tomato, I did 3 grafts: Large Barred Boar, Topaz, and Brad's Atomic Grape, and all of those are looking great. Realistically, I'm hoping for at least 10 different types of tomatoes on the 5 plants total, but potentially we could have as many as 17 different types of tomatoes on these 5 plants. So it's going to be, I'm guessing, somewhere in between those 2 numbers. We'll see. Then we have the onions, 2 tomatillos, and those have a lot of blooms on them. I was really surprised at how much they branch out. I don't know if I should be pruning them or not. I've never grown them before, but they really produce a lot of flower buds and blooms. It's going to be interesting to see how those do. Then the black creme is starting to grow some. Then we got a couple down there. Some more tomatoes, and I've just been sticking some peppers in the ground as I find spots. Got the zinnias over here. Then we have another bale that I have tomato plants in, and I have, let me see, a little tomato on that one. We've got a couple of tomatoes on the bigger plants too, but that one's finally got some tomatoes on it. Got nasturtiums in the side. On this straw bale we have petunias, and then 2 eggplants and a pepper plant in the top. And let's take a look at these leaves. Not a single flea beetle hole in the leaves. There's some insect damage, but probably done by something else. I'm doing a video just on that subject, so I won't go into it too much detail, but I thought it was interesting how the flea beetles haven't found the eggplants up on the straw bales. We have yacon in this cages. I'm protecting that from stem borers that also affect sunflowers. The potatoes, including the grow bags they're in, are almost waist high now. They're just growing like crazy. But these grow bags, I bought those in a set of 5, but this is my second year on those. If you're interested in those, I'll put a link down in the bottom of my affiliate link. I bought those in a set of 5, and I was kind of surprised at how well they've held up. That was my main concern. Then over here we have sweet potatoes. This is an Okinawan purple and yellow Jersey, and they're starting to take off with the hotter weather. Then that banana tree, it's just a little bit on the yellow side. I'm not sure. Might need to add some fertilizer to it. But it's really starting to grow. I've noticed that each leaf, if you look at the bottom ones, each leaf gets just a little bit bigger than the previous one. So as it keeps doubling those leaf sizes, that thing should gain some size pretty quickly. Then we got dill coming up everywhere that I didn't put some more wood chips. Got the cotton. And the sage, I was going to top it a couple of times, but I really like the flowers on it, so I just let it go. And we got a cilantro that's going to seed there. And the sunflowers are growing pretty well. I'm thinking about doing a chop and drop on that horseradish just to see how that works out. I don't think I'll be in danger of hurting it any. And I'm still haven't harvested that rhubarb. Let me show you the leaf on this thing. It's crazy big. It's gigantic. It's almost pretty enough to grow as an ornamental. Then we have this one blackberry plant over here. It's getting berries on it. Got the elephant garlic over there. And the other garlic, by the way, my garlic isn't fancy or anything. I just planted some from the grocery store, and it's done extremely well. I dug away from the base of one, and it looks like it's going to have some sort of purplish tint to the skin. I thought that was interesting. But right now things are growing really well. And I'm really looking forward to getting that BLT in another month or so. Since I did a video that showed these, I thought I'd do a quick update and let you see how those are looking. They've grown a little bit, and the rest of the seedlings, I knocked a bunch of those down with the weed eater, but they're coming back. And along with those, I have a whole bunch of nutsedge. It's kind of like a pointy-leafed weed. I hate this stuff. But I didn't realize we had so much of it over here, and I think what I'm going to try to do with it and these morning glory seedlings, I'm just going to bag my lawn clippings and just try to smother some of this stuff. There's the tub of petunias. It looked beautiful yesterday, but the rains really made it look kind of ragged. But that's what it looks like today. I'm sure it'll look much different next time you see it. I'm going to only leave about 3 seedlings there, cucumbers to climb up this little trellis. I put those bricks there to keep the trellis up off the ground. There's a look at the naranjilla. It's starting to grow a little bit in the top, but it still looks pretty ragged. I'm sure it'll look a lot better in about a month or so. I got some ornamental pepper seeds from some friends, and I think these are sangria. I'm kind of looking forward to seeing. I don't know if growing a goji berry bush in a container will work or not, but it's growing really well right now. I've topped the main 2 stems early on, and it's bushed out, and I topped all of these, and I may even cut them back a little bit just to keep it shorter and stockier. Then right next to it are ground cherries. I'm going to thin those out to 1 per pot. And then we have a couple more ornamental peppers. This is probably the weirdest graft that I've ever done. I did this about a week ago, and for the first couple of days it looked pretty terrible, really. It was just hanging limp, and then the next day it just started to straighten up, and one morning I came out and it was actually sticking straight up like it is now. It's been that way ever since. What I do is I let it have some early morning sun, and then I put it in the shade for the rest of the day. I don't know if it'll even make it or not, but I thought I would give it a chance. It's a wave petunia, and since they're in the nightshade family, I thought, what the heck, maybe it'll take. There's no practical reason for doing it. I just wanted to see if it could be done. So there's a look at what it's doing right now. I'll update if it makes it. So far, so good. Let me see if I can get a shot at the graft itself. It's a cleft graft, of course. On this one I did kind of a modified side graft, and I think we're probably a little over a week in now, and I've already trimmed this back right here, and I'm just about ready to wean it. So today I'll probably completely cut that stem in half and then cut just under that grafting clip, and it'll be just the one plant then. The rootstock is over here and the heirloom is over here. And of course you don't want to let this one grow, so I'll be cutting that off soon when I do my cut here. Before I go on and show these milkweed plants, this is their third year, and they are going to flower this year. Well, maybe, depends on what happens. We're thinking about putting a storm shelter over here, so these may have to go. But they've done pretty well. I've enjoyed watching the caterpillars on them last year, and I might try to move them, I'm not sure. But I just wanted to show them for those folks who have been watching their progress. Over here next to the shed by the grow bags, I forgot to mention something that's coming up. Actually, there are a couple of them coming up. This is ginger root. That's just from the grocery store. Bought a couple of pieces of it and stuck it. One there, and I stuck one over there. And also, when I see a bare spot, sometimes I've just been sticking a pepper plant here and there. That's a little ornamental pepper called fish pepper. There's two of them there, and they're right next to the cotton. And also we have the Swiss chard over there, mixed in with a bunch of dill that comes up everywhere. The butterflies love that stuff. If you're just now finding this channel, you might subscribe and follow along. See how this all works out. We'll see you next time.